Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Blindfold Off podcast, where we take off our blindfolds and open our eyes to new views, topics, and discussions. It's your boy, Emmanuel LKD. Yes, sir?
You already know who it is, Ernest. You already know. What's up, Emmanuel? What's up?
What's up, man?
Tell the people what you've been up to this week.
This week, I've been working heavy on these reaction videos. I've been watching a lot of Moon Knight. Yo, Moon Knight goes crazy, though.
Yeah, Moon Knight does go crazy. Dude, I'm upset. I've been listening to that song from the first episode. Every day I wake up and I start to pray. Lonely is the man without. Oh my gosh, such a banger. Listen to that song. It's a banger.
Yo, that song. And the soundtrack to that is fire, too.
Dude, it is. It's good.
It's
Low-key, I like this suit CGI'd rather than it being real life.
Yeah. Oh, bro, I saw real quick. I saw this one meme about, like, imagine you see Moon Knight like with an all white costume and robe, but it's the South. It's like, ooh, I mean, like, his costume's cool in London,
fight or flight if I see him, and I'm running, bro.
I'm running. He's not gonna save me. I gotta save myself.
Without further ado, we have a very special guest for you guys today. This next guest, when we were doing the relaunch of our podcast, he was one of the first people that I hit up just because I was so excited to talk to him and wanted to pick his brain. I love his content. I love the stuff he posts. And I especially love how in depth he goes in with the understanding of the knowledge and the nutrition and stuff like that and how he applies it. And I think you guys will benefit a lot from it. And I'm really excited. He's a really great guy. He's super cool with the Turtle Beach headphones. Without further ado, everybody welcome Sir Carlos Urcadez.
Yeah, what's up, guys? What's up? What's happening?
What's up, man? Tell the people how you are.
I'm good, man. I'm doing good. You know, just keeping busy, man. Keeping busy.
Good.
Good life, though. Good life. No complaints.
Synopsis on who you are. Give an elevator pitch.
So name's Carlos. Everyone calls me Ernie, though. So if anyone knows me by at least.
Ernie.
Personal trainer. I'm probably going on. I think this month is like year 10. Year 10 of being a trainer. So been doing this a long time, man. Long time.
Congrats.
That's about it, man. I mean, you know, I work out, I play sports, love to eat, I game, you know, Warzone's where it's at. Yeah, just chilling, man, enjoying life.
Okay. If you guys follow Coach Ern on Instagram, you can see this guy's kind of downplaying his weightlifting right now, but this man lifts a lot of weight. He's big in person. Don't let him fool you.
Nah,
man on his Instagram,
I do all right, man.
If you've ever done split squats, you already know how hard they are. Split squats are super hard, and he has 115-pound dumbbells in each hand, and he's doing them for like 9 or 10 reps. So I want you to think of that. Then I want you to imagine Coach Ern right there.
Nice. There you go. Tough, man.
Man, I feel like you have to have a different type of determination to get through split squats.
Oh, dude, I might have some masochist characteristics, I guess you could say. It's like, you know what? What's the worst thing I could possibly do to myself? Let's just try that.
Honestly, I feel like that's how you make progress, though. You're like, if I just do the worst thing possible.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I literally was having a conversation with a client this morning. And I was like, you know what? You know why you get better? You just got to do a lot of hard shit.
I was like, have that David Goggins.
Yeah. You gotta like
Goggins.
get in that uncomfortable places, man, and try to get better at those. I guess you could say.
Dude, David Goggins is crazy.
Oh, he wild, man.
He was actually training a millionaire, I guess, and apparently he was with him like every single day. He'd wake him up at like 3 a.m.
Oh, dude, yeah,
random time, and they'd go running like through the snow.
Oh yeah,
with no clothes on or something.
Yeah, I think I listened to that I listened to that podcast. That guy was telling the story with Goggins was pretty much living with him.
Mm-hmm.
The one specifically I remember is he's telling a story of like some newscast came on and like it's blizzard, stay home, like don't go outside. And Goggins like looked at him and be like, man, we should go for a run.
And he made him do it.
Yeah. It's wild, man.
That man is a beast, honestly. Like
Yeah.
all you need is like some David Goggins motivation, and you'll just be like ready to get up out of your chair and just like start like running the mile or whatever.
Yeah, it's wild, man. Well, I think. Go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead. My fault.
No. Well, I was just gonna say, like, it's wild, like, kind of like where he came from, because he used to be like fat and out of shape, and one day he just like flipped the switch, man. Now look at him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he was telling the story. He's like of him running 100 laps around the track, and he was saying like his shins were hurting and they were bleeding, and he like almost crapped himself because he couldn't stand. And he was like 300 pounds. That man is crazy. And he became a Navy SEAL. He broke the pull-up world record, which is like 900 in like 3 hours crazy, or something. Just something stupid.
Yeah, it's wild, man. It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah, that man's crazy. But we really wanted to jump into this first topic. So what is health? What is health?
What is health? I think it could be a very broad definition. You know, just I guess the opposite of being sick, being in good health, I guess you could say. You know what I mean?
There's also different like classifications of health too.
Oh, for sure. You know, because there's different labels, obviously, like because you could be overweight but be healthy somewhere else. You know what I mean? So it could
mentally be healthy.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess it depends what scope you're looking through.
It also depends what you value too.
Oh, for sure.
So how can the average person maximize their health?
The average person.
So average person works 9 to 5, maybe eats out once a week, doesn't really work out, doesn't know how. How can that average person maximize?
I would have to look at like what their current like lifestyle and what their habits are right now, because like the biggest thing is like what kind of habits they do on a daily basis, because that's usually determines how healthy they're going to be in a sense. Like especially for the people working 9 to 5, like man, like they just got to move more. Honestly, that's like the biggest thing is moving, because you're sitting down 8 hours of the day, go home, eat, maybe pop a beer, if I crash out after that, like, it turns into like a pretty vicious cycle after that. But other than that, man, it's just moving more, eating well, that's like the baseline I think everyone should kind of have.
I feel like in schools they already teach it, but you only take, at least in my high school, I only took a year of it, and basically we didn't really learn anything.
Yeah. It's I think it's thankfully like nowadays I feel like it's getting more they're starting to build more value out of it for like people being healthy and stuff. Because I feel for like a long time it was just kind of like something that people put on like kind of like the back burner, like if people exercise, that's cool, but if not, it's one of those things. But yeah, I think nowadays it's starting to get a little bit better, which is hopefully a good sign for things to come, but you never know, man.
How's the market been for your training clients? Have you seen an uptick in clients, or have you seen kind of like it being stagnant, especially with inflation and stuff that's going on right now?
Yeah, it just depends, man. Like when the whole COVID thing hit, like that was, surprisingly is I got more busy during that time than I was like ever before. It was wild.
Really?
Yeah. I just feel like people are like, you know what, maybe I should work on my health that way. That thing doesn't hit me like a train, you know what I mean? So
I feel like people are looking for that outlet, and kind of working out's definitely that outlet. It does a lot of things for you, definitely. Well, obviously physical, but mental.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, man. For sure.
And stuff like that. I feel like a basic thing that people really do miss though, are our basic understanding of food groups and calories in, calories out, fats, fatty acid, BCAA, and all that type of stuff, like the basic education of those types of things.
Yeah.
I think if more people understood that, there would be a lot, America would be a lot different. There would be a lot less obese people.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. It's it's like kind of like back to the conversation of like doing hard things. Like people like feel like they depend on convenience a lot. So that's why rather than learning to make their own food or like, getting uncomfortable, like learning how to cook or, meal prepping or whatever, they resort to, getting fast food or getting candy and buying just like cheap stuff. You know what I mean? So it's a interesting spectrum.
Yeah, I feel you with that convenience side of things. Because for me, I mean, just in general, like whether it's working out or not working out, I tell myself, oh, I'm just gonna do this because it's easier and I'll have more time to do this instead, whereas at the same time, I'm not really working to improve myself to actually learn how to cook, for example. I'll just rely on fast food or I'll rely on someone else to cook for me because I quote unquote have something else to do,
Yeah. No, it makes sense. I mean, we're such a fast-paced country that the convenience it plays a big role. You know what I mean? I think that's why nowadays you're seeing a big jump in like these like meal prep companies and like because people just don't want to cook, man. They just want they want the easy stuff. We're not in the days of where we have to go and hunt our own food nowadays.
Yeah.
I
definitely do like the meal prep though, just because you don't really have to do as much and everything's weighed out for you, all your macros and calories and everything that you really need, and you can customize it for yourself depending on your goals. And I do really like that about the meal prep service. But then another thing, people when it push comes to shove, people don't really know how to cook.
Yeah.
In the day.
Yeah, it's I have this conversation constantly, man. Like I tell, especially like the high schools I work with, I was like, man, just learn to cook. It'll save you years and years of pain. Because I feel like if you have that skill, like I'm like, dude, you can cook for yourself. You can cook for a girlfriend. Like, you can make it what it is, man.
They'll like it too. There's not a lot of people that cook that much. I don't think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Nice candlelit dinner.
Oh, for sure. Fellas, like this is what I want to tell. Like, fellas, learn to cook. Promise you. You'll get benefit from it. I promise.
On some Marvin Gaye.
Yeah, light some candles, man. Yeah, there you go.
I really wish schools would teach more about health in high school and in younger ages as well. But I think for them to fully grasp, it's kind of hard not to talk about something broad without getting into the specifics, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Especially with training and how to train and what to eat and how to eat it and when to eat it. And that's why I feel like the best athletes always spend the most money on that type of thing, because they understand how much their body means to them.
Yeah.
And I feel like for the average person, like health, like you only have one body, like, so why shouldn't we teach more about it in schools?
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
And really, really prioritize it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like it's an investment. You know what I mean? Like an investment in yourself. But I don't think an investment in yourself it's always a bad thing. I think it's more good than bad, honestly. Especially when it comes to training, nutrition, things like that. You know what I mean?
I want to talk about that real quick. I don't feel like people grasp like the understanding of an investment in themselves. Like they more so think of like cheap ways of how to just like kind of like get it. Yeah, they don't really understand like the full grasp of an investment. They'd like invest in like a quick fast food thing, but never for themselves or that future, like for their like have that foresight that they're going to benefit from. Yeah, especially with training and for trainers, like you're literally paying them to make you be the best version of yourself. Yeah, like, that's what they're there for.
Yeah, you're not
for
gonna
sure.
get instant results.
Yeah, and they're definitely passionate about it too.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think that the funny thing, like about the investment thing, sometimes it comes down to the coach, because sometimes the coach, either they're not providing enough value to them that they're not gonna like take it serious,
Mm,
or you know what I mean, like
Mhm.
because so there's some times where you can get a client and then they're like gun ho at the start, but they don't at the a couple weeks in they don't really value it as much anymore. They're like, you know what, I'm not really about it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But that kind of that ties down to us to be like, hey, if this is something you really value and I can show you that, like, and depending on whatever your goals are, then we can tie into whatever kind of plan we kind of come up for them. You know what I mean?
Mm.
It kind of goes with that vulnerability of the client, because if you don't know, like, you can't really help them too. And especially if you're embarrassed to even ask for help, like how can someone even know where to start and even help you?
Yeah, exactly.
And I feel like a little disconnect too is like what a trainer values versus what an average person or someone that's coming in to see you values.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's like it's when I first like start talking with somebody, it's like that's what I try to get to the bottom of, is like, all right, what do you value right now? Like, do you value your health right now, or do you value going out and having drinks with friends? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because at some point you're gonna have to make some sort of sacrifice.
Mm.
It's just it's a constant tug and pull.
Yeah, that's the thing I've learned with like mentorships / coaches and the person who's training under them, like just in general, is that you really have to sacrifice, like you said, and you have to put in the discipline for yourself, because it's like the idea that you can always lead a horse to water, but the horse isn't gonna drink it.
Exactly.
Or like you can't make it drink it or whatever.
No. I know what you mean. It's one of those things. Like, and I tell these people all the time, like we as coaches, we can give you a perfect plan on paper, but if you're not going to go execute it, then it's pretty much down to nothing, man.
I feel like that's one of the most frustrating parts as a trainer too, because you're like, your progress could have been exponential, and they should always see their progress like this. Never, it's always, but sometimes people who don't commit, it's like,
oh yeah,
they stagnant, then they like get a little bit better, and like get a little bit better, but it's never like, if you just listened and you just did kind of what I told you, like, like you would be so much better right now, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. And it's one of those things, like I said, like, I'm kind of like one of those coaches where I'll never really blame the client. Like, pretty much I'll put the blame on myself, just because that's just kind of coach that I am. Like, if this person's not seeing progress, well, like, am I not convincing, but not showing them the value of what's going to happen if they do these things? You know what I mean? Versus like, I'm just going to say it, do this. If it doesn't work out, then too bad. You know what I mean? I'd rather be like, hey, let's try this. If it's not working, okay, let's reevaluate. Let's see what you can stick with, and then kind of go from there. It's like a compliance thing. Find the things that will kind of help them comply to the plan. And sometimes it doesn't look perfect on paper, but it fits whatever their lifestyle, whatever their value at a certain time. You know what I mean?
I never really thought of it that way, to show them the value of what you're trying to give them, basically.
And sometimes it's a constant conversation you got to keep having with them. Like, my biggest, like someone who likes to drink, am I gonna be like, hey, I need you to quit drinking cold turkey? And like, you know what I mean? Like, more oftentimes than not, they don't want to stop. So I'm like, okay, if you can't stop completely right now, let's do this. So instead of having, let's say someone goes out, drinks 5 drinks, I'm like, all right, this week I want you to cut it down to 4. And then so they're like, okay, I could do that. So that's like a compliance thing. So okay, I could do that. And then they start, okay. And then maybe the next week, all right, let's cut it down to 2. And then kind of keep it. It's like a constant battle of like, getting to where they need to be, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I feel like it's about making those habits easy. Like, if you want to start a habit, you have to make it easy for yourself.
The less friction, I guess you could say, the better.
Yeah.
Because like again, like because I'm sure every coach has like, all right, I just need you to do these 5 things and you'll be like the best shape ever.
Yeah.
But you know, maybe you can only work on 2 of those things for the time being. You know, it's just it comes down to those. You know, what? But like I said, what do they value at the time, and then kind of go from there.
It's also hard as a trainer because you can't really give them everything because you can't think of everything at one time.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean? Yeah, because you kind of you prepare your client to go through everything as much as like to kind of give them the easiest way possible and in the most successful way, but you can't really account for stuff like their aptitude to simply like digesting the knowledge that you're giving them.
Yeah. Well, it kind of comes down to like how you're communicating whatever you're telling them. You know what I mean? Because you could say something sounds super smart, but they have like you just like in one ear out the other, and they don't even freaking grasp it. Or you could try to make it to where they'll understand. But okay, I get what you're saying, and then kind of like hopefully it sticks. You know what I mean?
I see it a lot with little kids too. They're always just like,
yeah.
Like, they're just like nodding.
Yeah,
even when you put it in simple terms, they're like, yeah. You're like, dude, but I just told you to do it this way.
Yeah.
Like, why are you still not doing it? So then you really have to do some self-reflection and be like, you know what? Like, it's probably my fault that they're not getting it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's like I think you kind of said it like, if you can't explain it to like a 5-year-old, then you probably don't really understand it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I kind of find it really interesting how you have to manipulate the language depending on what kind of client you are. It kind of just shows how diverse America is, if that makes sense.
No, for sure.
Yeah, it's just like what we were talking about off cameras. Like you kind of have to understand their lingo, understand what kind of slang they're using. Like, hey man, if you're trying to get I'm trying to think of an example right now. Like if you're trying to get swole, this is what you got to do.
Yeah. No, it's honestly, it comes down to that, man. Like, it's like, all right, man, let's hit this exercise. We're about to, you know, I could be like, oh, we're going to train your, you know, your latissimus dorsi right here on your,
yeah.
like, all right, man, we're going to train your back. All right.
Dude, doing some basic things and exercises like simply just doing a pull-up is really, really hard. I was just thinking about it the other day. I was like, simply doing a pull-up is really, really hard. And it takes a lot of concentration to stay balanced and make sure you're, in a way, in your mind, you have to imagine yourself doing the movement before you do it.
Oh, yeah. It's like that visualization kind of thing. Yeah.
But it's funny because we don't even take into account how quick we do it. We just it kind of becomes muscle memory after a long time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, when you do something for long periods of time, it's like, all right, I can do this with my eyes closed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Split squat 100-pound dumbbells.
Yeah. I haven't done it in a while, man. I'm about to freaking bring it back out again or something.
Oh, dude, you're gonna make me sad. Don't do it.
Yeah. I know, right?
I haven't hit legs in a while. You're gonna make me sad.
Speaking of what you said for doing things for a long period of time, I kind of want to get back to the root of what you do. So, so you're a coach for 10 years. So what made you want to be a coach, and why do you keep doing it?
You know, it was one of those things, I kind of just like fell into it. I mean, it was like after I graduated high school, I like wanted to play like college basketball and stuff. But I mean, I wasn't necessarily the most genetically gifted person. You know, I was 150 pounds, like 5'10". So I was like, I'm probably going to have to put on a little bit of size here. You know what I mean? So after that, I was just like, all right, well, don't really have money to hire like a coach or anything. So maybe I'll just have to teach myself, man. So, and like ever since then, it was just like curiosity, you know, like, how do I improve this, or how do I get better at that? What exercises do I have to do to, you know, get stronger, jump faster or jump higher, run faster, you know, just things like that. And it's just a constantly asking questions, man. That's just a curiosity. I'm amazed by just the human body itself.
Yeah, we're still learning things about it to this day.
Oh, for sure. It's if you really think about it, I think strength and conditioning has only been around for like maybe 100 years, couple hundred years, something like that. So it's fairly new, especially in our era, you know.
It's kind of looking back on the time period when Babe Ruth was around, and you see some of his workouts. It's kind of laughable.
Oh yeah,
'Cause it's
yeah.
like
they got away with the bare minimum back in the day, man. A couple push-ups, some crunches, some sit-ups.
but
Call it a
some
day.
of the things like he would put both legs into the trainer's sternum, and he would lean onto him, and he would kind of do like a makeshift leg press.
Oh yeah. Oh, I can see that. I can see that. Yeah, no, imagine trying to work out in the days when we didn't have freaking squat racks and dumbbells and
I know,
you know,
training
all the
how he's gonna have
special,
another
all the
day.
special things we got nowadays. Yeah, it's wild.
Simply just running and doing push-ups.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know. I was telling somebody the other day, I was like, "Hey, you want to see how in shape you are? Go run a mile real quick.
Mhm.
We'll see. We'll see how you feel afterwards."
What discourages you as a trainer? Like, do you ever get discouraged,
Uh,
or was that like long ago in your career?
I don't know about discouraged. You know, there's times where I'm like, you know, training somebody and maybe they're not really into it as much as I am. So it's kind of like,
Mhm.
you know, I can't want it for them. And sometimes, you know, obviously sometimes they leave or they go somewhere else. I'm like, you know, it used to like discourage me. Nowadays, not so much. Like I feel like I've been doing this long enough where I can, you know, show them the way in a sense. But
Yeah.
you know, way back then, I was like, all right, well, you know, maybe I'm just a shitty trainer back in the day.
What's
But-
like the biggest thing you've learned from training? Like
Biggest thing I've learned?
like a lot of the takeaways. Like, it doesn't have to be big or broad, just like something that you really taken away.
Just consistency, man. You got to be consistent.
Hmm.
That's like the biggest thing. Like, I don't know, like there's so many freaking methods and so much information out there, but like I think at the end of the day, pretty much I feel like whoever's going to get the better results is whoever's more consistent. Because then it gives you like kind of like the, you know, that room to fail and also but keep progressing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. I kind of want to go back to what you said about college ball, and I think when you're by yourself and you don't really have, well, you do have the information, and not only that, I feel like when you're by yourself and you're just working constantly without a coach, that's when you get that introspection and you really know yourself, and you're like, okay, if I do this, somebody else has to definitely do that, or they can benefit from it too. Like, if I do this cue, like, let's see how it works on them.
Yeah.
But then from that, it doesn't work, then you automatically get feedback from that. Then you're like, okay, we'll think of it this way.
Yeah. It's just being able to like make those different modifications or changes, or you know, whatever's gonna like help in a sense. You know, that's the biggest thing. Yeah, but I feel like if you go for a period of like where you're just trying to like train yourself, you'll tend to learn. I mean, obviously sometimes you're not as precise, or you know, don't have all the answers right away, but sometimes, you know, you can figure it out in a sense. You know what I mean?
I feel like you do trial and error without you really knowing.
Yeah, exactly.
In a
exactly.
way.
Yeah. It's honestly, that's a lot. That's like a big chunk of it, to be honest. Because I mean, there's a lot of things that works, but there's a lot of things that kind of doesn't work, you know?
Because thinking back to it now, I haven't even realized kind of how many times like I've failed and I've kind of just been like it's whatever. Because I used to train the way I used to train. I look at myself now, I'm like, man, like I can't believe I trained like that. I look like such a fool.
Yeah. Wow, trust me, man. I've been there plenty of times.
Oh, dude.
Like I would go back and look at like some of the old programs I used to write. I'm like, dude, what the hell were you thinking? Yeah. Like, you dumbass.
Like a 4x20.
Something crazy like that. Yeah.
Oh man.
Like, well, I probably wasn't thinking there, you know. So but it's cool. It's cool to see the progression, how you come from that, you know.
Do you feel like people blame too much on genetics? Like it's almost like an out nowadays. Well, I'll just give you a simple one. Like, my calves won't grow because of my genetics. Like,
Yeah. No,
but bro,
I think.
I see you hitting chest for the third time today, like
Yeah.
third time this week. Like, of
Yeah.
course you're calving.
No, I think honestly, at the end of the day, it's kind of an excuse, but it has some part to do with it, but I don't think it's completely like, like I'm like I always like to use myself an example. It's because like, dude, I was never the genetically gifted. I was never jumping super high or running fast, but like I was able to train myself to just improve those things. You know what I mean? So I feel like if I can do it, anyone can do it. You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like having the standard for when people compare themselves and they're like, you know what, I got to get better, it's always some type of standard.
Mhm.
Like, and I feel like if they just be real with themselves and they're like, you know what, like, I'm not them. If that's the first thing they have to realize, like, I'm not them. So I'm
Yeah.
never going to be like that. Like, you can emulate it and you can get as close as you can to them, but you're never going to be them. If
Yeah.
that makes
Yeah.
sense.
No, it does make sense. It's like I like to think of it this way. It's like trying to like climbing the mountain that you'll never see the top of. You know what I
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And it's always, society is always redefining the standard of what's good and what's
Mhm.
bad.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's always a constant debate about, yeah, like you said, like what's good, what's bad, but there's room for the middle ground,
Mm,
that gray area, you know what I mean?
yeah. And I think a lot of right is in that gray area too, the middle ground. A
Oh,
lot
for
of
sure.
right that people don't acknowledge. Like we
Yeah.
were just talking about this the other day. It's always A or B.
Yeah.
It's never C or D, and C or D
Yeah,
can
yeah.
be right just as much as A or B.
Exactly. Yeah, like, and then I think that comes with a lot of things, man. Like I feel like your best position is kind of like try to like stray in the middle, like try not to lean too far to one side, and that usually you'll be in a pretty good spot.
I feel like the only people that benefit from being like A is the only right way or B is the only right way is they're either promoting their own product or they're basically promoting their own product. That's the only thing I can think of. Like it's either A or B. Like they're only promoting their
Yeah.
own product. They're like,
Yeah, it's
you
like,
got to do A. A is the only way.
Yeah,
Knees over
yeah.
toes is the only way. And you're like, bro, but like why?
Yeah. Well, it's like it's the, what do you want to call it? Like choosing, like, yeah, you don't like choosing sides. Like, what if you don't have to choose? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's kind of people are putting it out there. It's kind of easier for you if I think for you than you think for yourself.
yeah.
Because then you don't really have to go through any of the hardships or the risks involved. Like a lot of the risks is facing embarrassment and people not liking you just for having your own opinion, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like the convenience that we were talking about again. Like the convenience of having someone else's opinion who's already had the blueprint of it, for example. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm just going to follow your blueprint, and your blueprint seems to work without doing your own trial and error.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's like the whole convenience thing again. You know what I mean? Like some people just don't want to like think for themselves. I guess it's a good way to put it. You know, so they're like, oh, this guy's, you know, he's jacked. He looks pretty strong, so I think he's end all be all. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how some people look at it.
You know who Jeff Nippert is?
Yeah, for sure.
Nippert is kind of like he's already smart. So if you just spew out the same things he says, like you're gonna seem just as smart and feel as smart as well.
Yeah.
So and sometimes what he does, he doesn't even do all the research, or sometimes he's not even right. And obviously he has his own bias and opinions. Not only that, you take on his own biases and opinions if you just spew out the same knowledge that he says.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. At some point, you kind of have to think for yourself, and sometimes that's thinking outside the box, you know. And but it's funny because usually the ones that do that, it's kind of frowned upon, and then like you know what I mean. But it's usually the ones that think that way that kind of like take our industry kind of more forward in a sense, because they're thinking that way. You know what I mean? They're not thinking in a linear fashion. You know.
Those are the people that really innovate our society.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
And it's and always it's always met with some like demonization of their ideas, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, it's always funny, man, when you see like certain people who kind of like make those kind of posts, like, but kind of in a sense, kind of like choosing sides. Dude, the comments always go wild, man. There's always like one side that's all about it, and then another side just like bashing them the whole time.
Yeah.
So,
Sumo versus conventional.
yeah. I know, man.
Listen, I don't even do conventional. I just do trap bar.
Yeah, that's me, man. Trap bar. Chat bar, but hey, my back feels good, man. My back never hurts. So
yeah, can you say that? Can you?
Yeah,
say
exactly,
that
right? Yeah.
Yeah, now you gotta go to rehab, get the acupuncture, get sprayed because you just wanted to pull fucking 600 pounds conventional.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure. I'm over here chilling, playing Warzone, doing my trap bar deadlifts with the same weight for reps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got you, man.
Do you think you have a pretty good introspection and that's how you like apply it to a lot of the clients you have, and that kind of attributes to the communication a little bit?
I mean, I would say so. You know, I don't really. It's hard to like say that I'm a certain way. You know what I mean? I just like I said, I try to think for myself most of the time. You know, trying to find the things that kind of like make sense in my head, and then like cut out the things that like there's things I'll try, but at the end of the day, like if I don't think it's gonna make sense, then I probably won't do it. You know what I mean?
Okay. Do you read a lot?
Oh,
I know
for
you
sure.
read a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it? Books, articles, or everything?
It's a mix of both. Kind of depends what mood I'm in. Like, and obviously how much time I have. Like, sometimes I don't have hours in the day to bust out a book, but I'll try to read at least a chapter a day. At least try to. Keyword try.
Right, yeah.
I just got a new book right now. It's called Level Up. It's a pretty good book. It's mostly about like, because right now I'm on this phase. Like I think I've been doing this long enough where I know a lot about like the training side of things. Now it's just doing things more on the business side. You know what I mean? Yeah. So because I always feel like that. I mean, like training is obviously like I think is my strong point, like training people and getting people where they need to be, but like managing the business, like the back end stuff, like, you know, finances and just like all the other stuff that not a lot of coaches really talk about. I've been digging a lot on that just to be more well-rounded, you know what I mean, as a, you know, coach and business person, you know.
Yeah. How do you kind of sort through since there's so much information, how do you sort through the misinformation or obviously outdated or ones that's not going to apply to you at that time?
I don't know. Honestly, I just kind of like, I feel like I have a really good filter nowadays of like, okay, that kind of makes sense. Or if something that kind of like sparks my curiosity, then I'll kind of like dig a little bit deeper into it. But, you know, like it's kind of like a weird thing of like, you got to be kind of open-minded and closed-minded at the same time. Like you can't accept all information, because if not, you're never going to be able to figure out what's right and wrong. You just got to be, I think it's like critically minded. I think is a good way to put it. So just like, you got to be able to filter out what you don't need, you know, maybe take a couple things, but it's just thinking that way.
Yeah. I've heard this quote that said that don't be so open-minded that your brain spills out.
Oh yeah. Exactly. I think I've seen that somewhere too, but I couldn't think of the exact quote.
What's the book that you benefited the most from that you read?
Benefited the most from? It's called Energy Bus.
I've read it.
Yeah, it's a good book, man.
It is a really good book
because it's you know, it gives you in that mindset, like, you know, not everyone's gonna be, you know, have that same energy as you, or you know. You know,
that way,
like energy is everything, man. You know what I mean? Like if people get off the wrong energy, then you can feel it, you know. And then it's kind of trying to shy away from those what they call them in the book, like energy vampires.
Yeah,
energy people that kind of like drain you and like, you know, leave you not feeling so good. You know, not always people are going to be on that that same bus, I guess you could say.
So like by bus, do you mean like school bus or like bust? Like
No, a
No,
bus, like a
so-
school bus. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
school bus.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so the book pretty much tells about this, like, I forgot the guy's name, but he ends up getting on this bus, and like the driver like tells him like, because he's living like his life is so crappy at the time being at the beginning of the book that he just like doesn't enjoy anything. He doesn't like, his marriage is crap, his job is crap, but he starts changing like his energy and like his mindset in a sense. And the moment he like changes that, then his whole life starts to like improve after that. Pretty much what the book is about.
Mm.
Just putting energy in the right things.
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely suggest you read that, man. It's a good read.
Okay, I'll take
I
that.
remember
It's a
reading when I
quick
was-
read. You could probably knock it out in like a day.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the book's pretty
nice.
thin. I remember reading it when I was 14, but I think if I read it again, I'll digest it in a different way.
Probably.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's always the stuff that you revisit after years. Then you're just like,
Yeah.
dang, I didn't notice that now because you had so much different experience. And then you can kind of apply the principles and lessons from the book that you revisit and be like, oh, dang. So that's how this principle played out in that area of my life. It's always
It's kinda
so
like-
interesting.
It's kind of like the Bible.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, it's like
exactly like
Bible.
the Bible, if that makes sense.
Yeah, just taking the. I'm trying to remember the quote is like, when you're ready to learn something, the teacher will like appear in a sense. But sometimes,
Oh yeah.
you know what I'm talking about?
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember how that quote went, but
Was Emmanuel wanted to ask if you were religious at all, and if you had a denomination.
uh, what's funny is like I've kind of gone back and forth over the years. Like I used to be pretty heavy Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
Just growing up, I was Catholic, and then over the past couple of years, I've just, I believe, I kind of believe in a higher power and this and that, but I'm not so much to say that, I wouldn't label as me as like a Catholic or whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? Don't want to get too much into religion. Sometimes it can be a touchy subject for some people.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
definitely.
Of course. Yeah. I was just wondering because with, for example, with the blind reacts that we do, like there was some kind of like Christian biblical content infused in it that I wasn't sure if you were knowledgeable in or had any knowledge in it. So I just wanted to make sure with that.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah.
Did you go to a Catholic high school, or was that just something your family?
No, it's just like some of my family kind of did. I did all the sacraments, whatever we had to do, first communion and all that stuff.
Yeah,
So-
First Holy Communion.
Oh yeah. Did all that stuff, man.
Did if you don't mind me asking, like, how come you fell out of touch with it? Was it just because you got busy training and?
Kinda, yeah. It was kind of just busy, and then I wasn't. I never really. I just stopped going to church and things like that, and just kind of like ended up being like something that you kind of. I want to say forgot, but just kind of put on the back end.
Yeah,
Mm.
I definitely get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all right. Honestly, I haven't been going to church either, so
Yeah. Yeah, just one of those things, man. But like I'll pray, like I'll still pray and stuff, and like like I like to think somebody's out there watching over me, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't like
Right.
surround my life around it, I guess you could say. You know what I mean?
That makes
I know
sense.
what you mean.
Does are a lot of your friends well versed in nutrition and training and stuff like that too? Is that a lot of your conversations based around?
Sometimes, you know what I mean? Like, well, the people I work with, obviously, everyone's kind of
Obviously,
has everyone has like their own niche or whatever. But as far as like just like regular friends, not really.
I mean,
It's
just
funny
call
because
your
like
friends basic. You said, damn, your friends are basic.
No, it's like I have buddies that I'll play like Warzone with, and like I'll tell them about like
Oh,
stuff
of
I do
course,
for
yeah.
work, and they're just kind of like,
Oh,
"Oh,
cool,
that's
bro.
cool, that's cool,"
Damn,
you know what I mean?
bro.
Yeah, exactly. But then it's funny because like they'll like ask me like random questions. They're like, "Hey man, what can I do to do this, or what can I," you know what I mean? And I'm just like, like I don't think you really want to know the answer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. you're like, it ain't free, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not free.
Yeah, people pay me for my time, man.
Do in the beginning, would people like take advantage of you when you started training?
No. Oh,
Or,
for sure.
like, obviously,
For sure.
how did that go about?
You know, I like, I don't know. I never really trained like my family. Like I would give people like, I write them out workouts and things like that, but it never got to a bad point. You know what I mean? Usually they were pretty respectful as far as that goes.
That's really good. That's nice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Yeah, people were hitting me up like, "Hey, man, will you train me for free or for fucking super cheap?" You know what I mean?
Oh, dude, I must. For me, at least, that's like super disrespectful and like inconsiderate in a way.
No. Oh, for sure.
Because you're like, I put in all this time and work and effort, and you're not gonna pay me for my time and effort in a way.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what makes you different? Obviously, we're family, but that doesn't make you any different than anybody else. Like, you should respect me enough to pay me for my time and effort that I'm gonna put into you.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
it
it's
takes
funny,
a lot of energy.
It does. It's work, man. At the end of the day, it's work. You know.
Yeah.
I think I reading it's like a quote or like an article the other day. I think it was honestly yesterday. This guy was talking about like personal trainers giving away like free sessions. It's always like a weird concept, but like any other business, like let's say you go to, the way he put it is like, let's say a new sandwich shop open up down the road. Go to the sandwich shop, you know, order everything, get all the fixings, and you tell them, "Hey, I'm gonna get this on the house, and I'll pay you for the next one." Like they're probably not gonna let that fly, right?
No shot.
So because they gotta pay for the ingredients, they gotta pay for putting everything together. But it's always a weird thing for trainers. Like we feel like we're always giving away our kind of like our time for free by like giving advice or, you know, giving someone like a free set just so they can try it out. You know what I mean? But you know, it's a weird conversation sometimes.
It is. I never really thought of it that way, because you kind of have to self promote yourself, and in how society kind of, in a way, you kind of have to give it for free, or else you're not going to get that attention, if that makes sense.
No, exactly.
That's just social media and your clients like posting videos of them and all that type of stuff. I never really thought of it that way.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I don't know, like I'll still do it. Like unfortunately, but that's just kind of like the industry we're in. Like people just want to try out a session to start, but you know, I might just have to start charging nowadays, man.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic. At least get something for it, like
exactly.
$5 to train today or something. Like
yeah. Well, it's like if you go to like a doctor's office or any kind of specialist, like you're paying that first day, man. You're paying that first day. Like they're not gonna give you nothing for free.
Even with food, they give you free samples. So, but with training, you're literally taking an hour to train this person, and not only that, it's kind of hard because if you get one session in, like you learn absolutely nothing about them. You may learn something like just by visually looking at them and physically how they are and kind of how coordinated they are, but literally you learn absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Well, I think that's like the biggest thing for anytime, you know, a trainer meets with somebody for the first time, is they're really finding out like what their body is like. Is like, okay, let's see what are their motivations, what are their goals, and things like that. You know what I mean? Kind of peeling back those onion layers. You know.
Do you have to train? Do you have to do different training plans for different ethnicities? If that makes sense, for races.
Not really.
Just more so the way they respond to the training plan that you gave them.
Kind of like that. Honestly, like I think like probably 80-90% of the populations probably should be doing very similar things. And you just make slight tweaks here and there depending on what their case is like. You know what I mean? But no one really needs like a very special training program. You know what I mean?
Did you see DK Metcalf's diet?
Oh, dude, see the video? Trash. Done. I hope people see that and they're like,
they think it's. I hope they know it's BS. Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
I was like, he's eating like a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
So if you guys don't know, DK Metcalf, he's a wide receiver. He's an all-pro wide receiver for the Seahawks. And this man is jacked. He's like 6'5", 6'6", and he's absolutely ripped. He's got like 1% body fat or he's got super low percent body fat. And he said for his diet, he eats 2 bags of candy a day and drinks a Starbucks, and that's his diet.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
I think he says he eats like once a day too, which is wild. I mean, like I said, I don't know how true it is. He might just be saying something out of his ass, but you never know.
Dude, he gave his whole synopsis of his day too. He's like, yeah, I woke up, I fasted, I went to practice, then I did weights, and I wasn't really hungry. Then I drank a Starbucks. Then right before bed, I ate 2 bags of candy.
Oh, dude, yeah.
I was like, dude, what is wrong?
Like I said, he's kind of like that genetic cream of the crop, man. Like
Genetic.
he could probably get away with it, man, but
Mhm.
not everyone's in that same boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, not everyone's built different like that.
Nah, not at all.
Do you coach more high school or college athletes?
Right now, mostly high school. Mostly high school right now.
I definitely see college. Okay, cool. Sorry, my screen froze.
Oh, it's all good.
Yeah.
But what were we saying?
Oh, do you coach more college or high school athletes?
Oh, mostly high school right now.
Mostly high school.
Yeah, college. I don't really see them till like summertime. Which I have a bunch. Like I have like 5 or 6 come to me during the summer.
How annoying is it when a college coach tells their kid to do something and they come back and repeat to you like what the college coach said? Then you're just like,
it's a very
serious?
That's an interesting conversation. Like usually the kids will come and they'll send me like the programs that they send them to do over the summer. I'm like, I can kind of see some of their thinking wise, but usually I'll change some things up. You know what I mean? But I try not to go too far where they're not doing the exact same things. But it just depends.
Anyway, so I'm gonna ask this question for Emmanuel. So what's the right amount of days that you can work out with still kind of being Emmanuel? You want to be ripped, right? Kind of like.
Oh well, honestly, now I mean, like now to be honest, I'm just thinking like it definitely does take a lot of work to be ripped because like like Bruce Lee ripped, for example, like that takes a lot of work. And for me, example, like not necessarily I want to be comfortable, but like I want to be at a place where I could still do a lot of my own hobbies and own passion projects while not necessarily not putting in as much time, but like I don't know, it's like a weird balance to kind of have to find, huh?
Yeah, because you're kind of like a lot of people are like that. They're not like super dedicated or passionate about it, and that's completely fine. But it's more so finding a balance of like you want to look a certain way, so you have to kind of prioritize that over how you feel in a way.
Yeah, I mean, like for me, I work out every 2 days. Like 2 days ago, I did legs. Today, I'm gonna hit chest and triceps, and then the next
you work
2
out
days,
3 days a week.
Yeah, 3 days a week. Yeah,
That's good. That's fine.
Yeah.
As long as in your other days you're doing something like you have active rest days. So active rest days are like you're moving around and you're walking around the grocery store and you're kind of like just moving around basically. Like you're not just laying down in bed all day. Just so you kind of burn the same amount of calories that you would normally.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, your body kind of it doesn't recomp, but basically you just get fat, like for lack of a better word.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I would say for my goal is just to be healthy enough where I can, go hiking and not feel tired after 10 minutes of hiking. You know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to be panting, like all hunched over, like,
Sometimes with activities like that, you just have to go do them more often just to kind of prepare yourself for
That's true. Cause like a lot of people who like build muscle, and stuff like that. Like I mean, not a lot of people, but some people who just focus on building their muscles, their cardio isn't good, for example. Like what's all that muscle if you can't,
It depends.
Yeah. That's why I said some people.
Yeah. That's always a huge answer in our industry. It depends, man. It depends.
Dude, you don't want to get so big, like at least for myself, like I can't scratch like some parts of my back. I'm being honest, like I literally can't reach and scratch some parts of my back.
Yeah, there's some people that got it way worse sometimes, man. I think I seen like a prank video like not too long ago. This guy, he gets like a tape and he puts it like under, like he goes to like a professional bodybuilding like expo and he puts it like right under here, and like none of them can reach it. Like none of them could like move their arms in a way where they could grab the tape. It was funny.
Yeah, those are the best.
Yeah.
Because they don't realize the value of like.
Oh yeah, just like being able to
right
move
here.
and scratch like this. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Speaking of like muscle and building stuff like that, I kind of got a question. So just from videos I've seen, for example, like there was this one video on my YouTube page that popped up about this bodybuilder just being super open about steroids. So how do you feel about steroids? Do you like them? Do you like absolutely hate them? Or are you okay with them? Like, what's your kind of position on steroids?
My whole thing is like, I think if you're gonna do it, like obviously be open about it, like, because I think where you kind of get the negative feedback from it is when people be like, oh, I'm getting jacked and this and that, and they'll label themselves as like natural, but at the end of the day they're not natural. So they're kind of like lying to whoever their community is, and then they think, oh, if he could achieve that doing naturally, then I can too. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's kind of like a weird thing. I feel like nowadays it's getting a little bit more normalized to like be like take a steroid or something like that. Like there's so many different forms nowadays. I'm not against them. I don't use them myself, but I'm not against it. Like if it's something you want to do, and if you're competing in a sport that it's okay to take them, then like shit. I mean, by all means, like you're more than welcome to do with your body what you want to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just one of those things. It's always a touchy subject, especially in the fitness industry. But it's just tough because, like you said, you get those people that claim to get their results naturally, but they're taking a little bit of something to help them out. You know what I mean?
I feel like a lot of people get discouraged from being open or honest about it because they feel like if you just have the word steroids synonymous with working out, they think it automatically is going to be easier, which in turn it may be, but that's not the end all be all to be as jacked as Arnold or Chris Bumstead. Like those dudes put a lot of work. They work out for 4 or 5 hours a day, simply doing every single muscle, like their workout plans and diets are to a T. Like, so they either have to get their blood work done to take the correct amount of steroids to not go over with the milligrams to where. So let's say like TRT, for example. Automatically, as soon as you get an exogenous hormone in your body, so exogenous means like an outside source, like in your body. So your balls stop working basically. Dang. So because your balls stop working and producing like sperm and stuff, your balls shrink. So in turn of that, you could either have hair loss, you create more acne. So because your balls shrink later on, you're gonna have to take different type of drugs to make your balls to work. So you could have kids. So not only that, they have to take this certain type of drug to counteract another type of drug. And they have it down to a T to the point where they can't take them. So, and not only that, you only have a certain amount of cycles. So a cycle is like an 8 to 12 week process of you taking those drugs. And you only have so many cycles before your body gives out on you and you eventually just basically die, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. Well, I feel like it hurts your body's natural way of producing like testosterone in a sense. You know what I mean? So it's I'm not too like familiar with it, but I'm like, from what I know, I think like once you decide to do it, like you kind of have to like stay kind of on it in a sense. But I don't know how much of that is actually true, but that's just kind of what I remember from digging into it.
Yeah. For me, like, just because like I'm big in like the powerlifting and I know a lot of people take those types of stuff and I watch a lot of Chris Bumstead, they're definitely like 60 to 70% of people see side effects. Like,
oh, for sure. Yeah. There's a dope dude on YouTube, and he talks a lot about. He's pretty open about like the whole like steroid use, and he kind of like talks talks about like celebrities who take it. His name's called it's funny, I don't even know like his real name. I just know his YouTube name. It's
Greg
more
Doucette?
plates, more dates.
Oh,
You guys ever heard of
Derek.
it? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he's
Derek,
super
dude, I
smart
watch him all
dude.
the time. I love that guy.
Super smart dude. But he's super open about this people's using steroids. Like it's cool because he'll talk about like movie characters. He's like, oh,
Yeah.
what they took to get from this body physique to this body physique. It's like this is
Yeah.
probably what they did. This is the kind of like how much they probably use. It's like it's crazy.
Yeah, I really enjoy his page too because not only that, he's extremely vulnerable, like about himself too, and like what he went through.
Oh, for
He's
sure.
like, I lost my hair, I had so much acne, and not only that, he has a Reddit page where people share their own stories, and he kind of speculates on what they took and how they can kind of get better.
Yeah.
Their problems as well.
Oh, for
I
sure.
really do like that, and him calling other people out and saying like, dude, like you're basically a liar. Like, why are you saying that you're natural? And I really do appreciate that. And there needs to be a little bit more of that because like you simply just saying you're natural discourages a lot of people from being in the best shape they could be.
Oh, for sure. 'Cause I think it kind of like it messes with people like mentally too. Cause they're like, how am I ever going to achieve something like that?
How am I ever going to get, you're basically quitting before you even start. Like you're stopping somebody from starting.
Yeah. It's just like, I feel like we've mentioned them so much in our podcast episodes, but the Kardashians, with plastic surgery and stuff like that. It's just like they're the standard of beauty but they use plastic surgery and Photoshop and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I just wish man. Like they wouldn't feel ashamed or embarrassed about it. Cause it's like basically like you're huge already. Like it's okay. Like it's okay. You're not proving anything to anybody else. Like just be honest about it.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a respect factor to it too. And I really do appreciate people that are honest about it.
Yeah. I feel like I mean it's gotta be tough for them because I feel like they have to keep a certain image. You know what I mean? Yeah, because they're known for certain things. So like if they're not known for that, then what else are they gonna be known for? You know what I mean?
I feel like they put a lot of risk too. Especially like right now we're just talking about like their social media presence, but imagine like their home life, their family. Like, do they still lie to their family? Like how is their wife gonna feel that he takes TRT and his balls don't work, but now they want to have kids and he has to tell her like how are their home lives as well? Like that's it's kind of tough as well to kind of think about that. Too, and like, what's your family gonna say? Like, what kind of passive aggressive comments are they gonna make now?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, exactly.
That's your workout for the day.
Yeah, can only imagine, man. Can only imagine.
Oh, dude,
this makes me think about like the whole.
Per my last email.
This makes me think about the whole Lance Armstrong situation, where like he got exposed for steroids. I don't remember too much of it because I was pretty young, but like he got exposed for steroids in the Olympics and he got all his medals taken away. Right? Something like that.
Yeah, he got all like his whatever he won pretty much got stripped.
But people forget that he had fucking testicular cancer. He had cancer and he was taking those steroids to kind of balance it off. Oh my gosh, dude. I have a lot to say on that. I don't even want to get into it.
That may be a whole another episode there, man.
Yeah, I don't even want to get into it.
Yeah, like I figured that like he had to take steroids in a way to kind of maintain himself for those Olympics because he had cancer.
In a way,
too.
yeah.
It's interesting.
I don't know, especially I feel like if you get to the highest athletes, especially in the Olympics, like it's hard for you not to want to get that edge.
Oh, for sure. Like
because you're always thinking you want to be better than somebody else, and that's always going through your mind. And for you to kind of just say, I don't want to be somebody else, goes through everything you ever literally worked for.
Yeah. Well, I just think people should have like the option in a sense. You know what I mean? Like, like I had this conversation long ago, man, with one of my buddies. He's like, imagine a sports world where everyone was allowed to take steroids. Like, everyone reached like their top potential, and then kind of like have them just go out there and do whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it might be a completely different sports world, man.
Yeah, honestly. It also
I feel like
there's so much in between that it's kind of hard because you're like, okay, they take it, but like, what else are they doing? Like, how's their training, their sleep?
Yeah.
What were you gonna say? I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I feel like in a way, like if everyone did take steroids, I mean, if everyone did take steroids, in a way, it kind of takes away the competitive aspect of you like working on it all by yourself, all natural, you know. And I mean, of course, you know, taking steroids still comes with working out, you know, they go hand in hand with each other, but like at the same time, for me, how I see it, it kind of takes away that like, oh, I did this by myself, you know, actual pride and achievement.
Yeah,
like it feels,
blood, sweat, and tears, right?
Yeah.
Like it almost feels like the victory isn't actually earned.
I definitely see that point. And that's where a lot of people, I feel like if they had more understanding, they would be able to digest and kind of understand like why they took those things and the work it really does take to kind of have the body you have or the physique you have.
Yeah. So still got to put in the work, man. Got to put in the work.
Let's get this blind reacts going because I got to leave in like 20 minutes.
Oh, bad. Okay.
I got work.
All right. You got work. All right. So here's this video I saw called Rich People Don't Sleep 8 Hours. It's pretty infamous. It's by Steve Harvey. I don't know if you've seen it.
Sit on it.
Sit on it.
Sit on it. Yes.
If you are sitting in this room and you have extraordinary aspirations, then you're going to have to do extra. You have to decide if you are willing to do the things to put you in that category. Rich people don't sleep 8 hours a day. That's a third of your life. It ain't but 24 hours in a day. You cannot be sleep 8 hours a day. You can't live in LA and wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's 11 o'clock on the East Coast. The stock market been open 2 hours. They already making decisions about your life and your ass was asleep. The Bible says, he who loves to sleep and the folding of hands, poverty will set upon you like a thief in the night. Start putting some pressure on. Put some pressure on yourself. Get out here and get about it. Look, I'd love to sugarcoat this thing for you. I'd love to tell you, look, you can go out here and get rich, do a couple of things. That ain't happening. You got to get real doggish. You got to get downright funky if you want to make it.
See, like there were some aspects of that were true. Like, you know, the whole David Goggins mindset about how you got to be uncomfortable and stuff like that. But at the same time, and since you're a coach, Carlos, like how, like, you know, sleeping 8 hours actually is really important, right?
Yeah.
Like, cause like what he said, what can be criticized and stuff like that. And while some aspects he said were true, you know, sleep is not for the weak.
Yeah.
So I want to hear your thoughts about it. Like, how important did you realize sleep is for you as like a trainer, or how to like get purposeful rest?
To me, like, especially in my industry, I feel like it's super important because, like, I don't know, I guess you can say, because I've felt the difference between someone who sleeps like 6 to 7 hours versus sleeping like a full like 8 hours, and like it's like a night and day. And this is what I always tell people, like, because I could function with 6 hours, but can I be as productive as I really want to be with that time? Typically not, honestly. Because I always feel like I do my best work, I do more passionate work, like just because I have more energy when I sleep actually 8 hours. Versus like, let's say I sleep like 6, the only thing I can freaking think about is taking a nap. You know what I mean? Like taking a nap and recharging. But I think it's important, man. But like, I mean, I get where he's probably coming from. Like there's going to be phases in your life where maybe sleep's something that you have to sacrifice, man. You know, like having kids, you know, you're probably not going to get 8 hours having kids, you know, like, or let's say you want to get like a business growing, you know, maybe You have to put in those midnight hours, man. Like, but I mean, if you have time to sleep 8 hours, shit, I would do it.
It also kind of depends like who the audience is too, because like that Gary V type of mindset, it's more directed to the people who literally are trying to get that motivation to get their life started in a way.
Yeah. Well, it's like it's kind of comes back to the conversation of like how much friction are you willing to go through? You know what I mean? Like if it's something that's not gonna fit in your lifestyle, then it's gonna be hard to stick with, you know?
Yeah.
The better it can fit with, you know, what your daily processes are, your daily habits, then probably the better.
It also depends on the type of person, like who that person is. It's dependent on that type of person of what kind of hours like they should get.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
Like what best they can function on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. It's all context, man. Like there's some people that can get like a good 6 hours and like be good, but you know, me not so much. I'm not that type, man. I gotta get my 7 to 8.
Yeah, it's like an interesting balance you kind of have to have. Like going back to what you said about the friction with your habits and lifestyles on where your goals are at. It's like you have to find a balance, but at the same time, you have to find that friction so that you can push yourself to those limits.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, getting kind of comfortable being uncomfortable, you know, to quote old coach Tim Grover there. I don't know if you guys know who Tim Grover's at.
No, I don't know who Tim Grover is.
No, he was Michael Jordan's trainer pretty much.
Oh, trainer.
So he has a couple books out. I forgot the name. I think one's called I think I have it sitting on my freaking desk right now too. I can't even think of it.
Dude, those are the worst. Honestly.
Oh, I know, right?
It's like on the tip of your tongue.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, he's a big one. Yeah,
that's big. I think a lot of people. So, do you think people should sleep 8 hours or should get 6 with a nap in? Or is it more so people should start mixing in more naps into the day with an 8 hour?
I would say if you're not getting a full 8 or a full 7 or 7 to 8, I would say try to mix in a nap. You know what I mean? That way you can kind of at least make up some of it. I know that helps me. Like today, I'll probably take a nap since I was up at 3, 4 in the morning. You know, so that might help me go through the day. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Sleep's kind of viewed as that little extra energy source in a way.
It's I tell people it's like the free steroid not everyone's taking.
Yeah, dude, a lot of things go on when you sleep too.
Yeah. Well, there's a whole like process. I think it's like a 4-step process. Like
like the REM and stuff like that.
Yeah, like the REM, and then like, you know, there's certain phases where, you know, your body produces like the growth hormone and stuff like that, depending on which phase of sleep you're in. So it can there's a lot of details to it, but I think that's why people just like, hey man, just sleep 8 hours and you'll be good. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
I kind of thought of this like real quick analogy that I just thought about. It's like getting full 8 hours is like eating 3 full meals, but getting 6 hours of sleep and then a nap. The nap is like the protein shake.
Yeah. It's kind of like what do you want? Like a meal replacement in a sense. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. I got you.
Quick segue. All right, boys, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to go. I'm sorry. I love you. We love you. Coach Ern loves you.
I do.
I love you a little more. But it's time to go. I'm sorry. We had a great conversation today, and I'm glad you guys were listening. So a couple things before we go out. I want to mention our Patreon again. By this time, this would be our 4th week. So by this time, our Patreon would be live. So please donate to our Patreon. It's definitely encouraging, and it allows us to grow our page and get different guests and more things going on. If you donate and our page grows big enough, we'll have a lot of things going on, a lot of exclusive content on the Patreon, and we definitely appreciate that. So please donate. And if you want to see our page grow and you like what we're doing here. So where can they find you, Coach Coach.
Main things probably Instagram. That's like my main source of where I provide most of the content. At Coach Ern _. Pretty sure.
Coach Ern _ Yes.
Yeah.
It is Coach Ern _
Yeah.
Anything you'd like to shout out real quick? Shout out any business, anything. Don't ask him for free training.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm start charging now. I'm start charging for free sessions. Damn good, man. You know, just if you ever want to come for a session, let me know. Give me a heads up, and we'll chop it up, man.
Please. Coach Ern is definitely dedicated, and he definitely care about your well-being. He's gonna make sure you get the results you want and definitely need. So if you just put in the work, he'll be there with you every step of the way. So please. So also, you can follow me on Instagram at _E Armenta. You can follow my lifting page at IV Lifts. I do powerlifting and a lot of cool stuff there. You can also follow the podcast at Blindfold Off Podcast. Please and thank you. And you can follow my best friend at
EMM. I was about to spell it out. At Emmanuel LKD. And all of our links are in the description. So we thank you guys so much for watching.
Please listen to all his new music. Get his new merch. It's on his website. It's up. Listen to his new album, Lucid Dreamer. You already know what my favorite song is.
Purpose. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Please listen to the music. Listen to his music. Buy his merch. Spam his page. Spam Coach Ern's page. If you really like today's video, please send them a really nice message and let them know in the comments how much you appreciated him coming on. And if you want to see him again, he's going to come on again, regardless if you want it or not. So
I hope so, man. I hope so. Yeah.
So sure. Please let him know in the comments how much you appreciated him or if you have any questions you'd like to answer. Okay, guys, I missed you. I loved it. Today was a good day. Thank you, Coach, for coming on.
Sure, man. What was our time? I want to know how.
Our time? Let's see.
Like an hour 20.
Yeah, like an hour 20 minus the bathroom break.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
It was pretty good. We made good time. I enjoyed the
that was a fast hour and a half, man.
I know it was fast, honestly.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. Really.
For sure, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys, man.
All right, and peace out, guys.
All right, guys.
So
take care, y'all.